Hey everyone. Wanted to say hi. Welcome to the second episode of A Hopeful Dad. Today, I wanted to discuss some things that have been running through my head. I posed a couple of days ago, just without making a joke, that I had this kind of inspirational thought to run for mayor. And to be honest with you, a lot of fear passed through my head. Um, and a lot of it had to do with, first and foremost, I don't know anything about politics, and I don't have any background. And then I started thinking, well, President Trump's our president, and I don't believe he had a background in any political arena, so to speak. He had a business background, and so I was like, well, you got to start somewhere. And so I said, I don't necessarily have to have the best background and whatnot. I just have to be honest with myself, and if that's what people want and it's supposed to be, then maybe it'll work for that manner. Then also I started thinking about just baggage in itself, and we all come with baggage, and people who know me know that there's certain things that I say or have said that um, I find real funny or comedic in nature, and it's inappropriate. A lot of it's usually just gratuitous, with either poems that I wrote in high school or stories that I share, or stuff I say around my family at family events. Um, and so it just kind of, just I don't remember everything I've posted on Facebook or on social media. I don't know everything that I've put out there, and there's always that fear of like, well, what if you're in a public office or some sort of um, position where someone brings up something from your past. And I mean, that's a little scary because you do have to address it. But how do you tell people that people can change when they want to change, when someone feels compelled to change, they can change. And over time, I haven't been perfect, I never will be perfect, but I've continued to really want to improve. And so some of the things that you say, even in a joking manner, and you laugh about it and you don't have any ill will towards anyone, can definitely be taken out of context or taken in context and said, hey man, this is very highly inappropriate. And it's like, how do you explain that you how do you explain that? I don't know. So those are two things that kind of went through my head. And but for the most part, I don't know either how you fit in a box. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm a human. And I want to get people out of that box, that mindset, that frame of reference, so to speak. We derive so much of our identity through labels. You could say, well, my name is Curtis, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I work at this place, I live at this residence, I make this much money per year, I wear these types of clothes, I like this type of basketball team, I like X, Y, and Z. I dislike X, Y, and Z. I have friends who are named this, that, and the other. And it's like those are all labels that we derive our sense of identity through. And it's like, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. Um, I want the best for humanity. And right now I feel compelled that um, I want to make a change, starting with our neighborhood. There's this vision that why can't you start at the local level, and maybe make that a pillar for and an example to the rest of King County, and then to the state of Washington, and then Pacific Northwest, the West Coast, the United States, the North and South America, the Western Hemisphere, and then the world. I mean, but it starts there for each person in their own home, deciding to make a change and make something for the better, and it grows to multiple households and communities. And I thought, if we could 5S, which is just a terminology of like lean manufacturing, if we could start to really improve how we do things. It doesn't mean that everything is bad. It doesn't mean that Auburn's a bad city. But improvement is improvement, whether it's going from bad to good or good to great or great to phenomenal. There's always room for improvement, no matter how good something may seem. So I'm not even saying that the city I live in is bad, but there's definitely room for improvement, how we perceive things, how we go about our daily business, how we interact with each other. How kind are we to each other? And just understanding that I want more inclusion. And that also requires other people to make a decision to get out there and voice their opinion, and to do it peacefully and respectfully, and communicate effectively with other people. Get around people that can maybe help uplift you and encourage you if you've never had that in your life. But at the same time, inclusion and diversity helps get a better understanding of things. If we're always coming from the same perspective, if we're always listening and having the same 12 people, or or council members always making the same decisions or voting on certain things, and then, I mean, that's why I want inclusion because I'm just learning for myself that the more I've been part of inclusion, the more I can have an understanding. Maybe you don't know what it's like to feel fearful when a cop pulls you over. I don't know what that's like. I don't have that fear. And so when everything happened with George Floyd, maybe you can't relate to that because you've never even come close to experiencing that. But people are calling for you to take a stance, or to take a position, or a side, so to speak. And so it's difficult because you've never understood that. But if you've been the more inclusion you've been a part of, the more diversity you've been a part of, maybe then you could say, well, I can't personally speak from it, but I got a friend who's African American, and I do. He's one of my top five friends that I grew up with. And luckily for me, I have a friend who's African American. I have two Caucasian friends. Native American friend, and then myself, I am Hispanic. And so those are like the top five people that I grew up with. Now, majority of my friends are Caucasian, but that being said, it doesn't really matter. What I'm getting to the point of is maybe I won't understand something, but the more diversity that I've been exposed to, I can definitely put, maybe not myself in George Floyd's shoes, but if my friend that I have was in the same position, that can be more relatable to me. So that's why I'm for inclusion and for diversity and for multiple perspectives, because through that we can all kind of empathize with one another. And then again, just advocating that we make this not about race, but we make it about humanity, because everyone can buy into humanity, and we have a lot more of a likelihood to have everybody buy in if we can make it a humanity issue, that we're all people of the globe and we all have an unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that being said, it's not right on any level for any person to be infringed upon. But we have some things that we need to fix. And so I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. Those are some of the reasons why I just feel compelled that I've wanted to make a difference. And sometimes I get down on myself because I don't feel like I'm making enough of a difference. And so that thought had come into me. I'm still undecided. But the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, it just feels like it's something that is part of my duty at right now, as far as right now goes. And just considering it, I did a little role playing, pretending that I was the mayor while I was driving around. And just automatically my mindset, my perception shifted, where I started looking at everyone as a neighbor. I started looking at all the kids as my kids. And that might be weird to hear or weird to say. Maybe it does, maybe it resonates with you. But for me, it's just like my heart opened up when I took on a role that was more encompassing, that it wasn't just about me anymore, that the things I said, and the things that I did, and the way I carried myself, and the way I projected myself out there was not only going to be representative of myself, but my family and my community. And what were my actions, how are my actions going to affect those around me? And that's what just kind of came out of just role playing. It was crazy, and it was so uplifting and inspiring that I was like, there's a lot of fear with a decision like this. I don't know what it entails. I don't know what's going to be asked of me. I don't know what I'm going to have to do each day. I don't know what obligations that you're going to have. I just know that I want as much transparency as possible. I want us to communicate. I want us to have all the information out there on every level. I want people to understand what's going on. I don't want to hide stuff, because sometimes you feel like that, like at work, like if sometimes you just want to stand up and say, hey, this is what's going on. And if people understood what was really at stake, what was really going on, maybe they would take things more seriously, or maybe they would understand how much of an impact they have each day, that they're not just showing up to work to collect a paycheck, but they're really there to make a difference because they see the whole picture. They've been presented with all the facts, and sometimes I think that we don't share those things as a community and as a global community with each other out of national security or national interest. And it's like I think that when you have transparency, you gain trust with people. And so that's about it. I just wanted to. I mean, it's a 10-minute video. It's going to go on 11 minutes here. I hope you have a good night. Um, maybe it works out that I make videos because maybe, I can't go door to door shaking hands with COVID-19, but I can make videos and I can put them out there and maybe see what kind of support I get. So if you think, I would like your feedback. If you think that you'd like a change, you'd like to see a change, and you'd like to see me represent that change, so to speak, give me your feedback on the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, that's about it. If you, I really think I might do this. So love you guys. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay safe.